Hi, this is Kate from Daisy Nails, creating fun, funky and fabulous nails in the comfort of your home. Deep breath. So, pigment powders. I did a video about them last week and I just wanted to have another go with them. So I've seen a lot of people use pigment powders to create ombre backgrounds, similar to with an airbrush. I don't believe in using airbrushes with gel polish because you're mixing them up, making them very fine and spraying them so that gel polish is then touching your skin, it's floating around in the air. I just think there's far too many factors there for creating allergies. Once you've got an allergy to gel polish, you can't use it. You will never be able to have gel polish on your nails again. Okay, so I started off with doing a gel nail and then I did the pigment powder nail just to compare them. So I used Candy Pop, Sunset in Hawaii and Mimosa and just did a normal ombre. So I put them on, I brushed each colour next up, I sort of buffed it up next to each other, and then I used my Madam Glam ombre brush. I found a little bit of fluff in there. And then just going over the gap between the two, making sure I kept the brush the same way up. So the pink was at the top, the orange was at the bottom the whole time on the top one, and then the orange at the top, the yellow at the bottom on the other one. Just blending them together. And wiping the brush periodically so it didn't get too loaded with paint, and then pop that into the lamp for 30 seconds. So with this one, that's right, so I'm putting it onto the tacky layer. The instructions actually say put a velvet top coat on and then use the pigment, but I find it works really well just putting it onto the tacky layer of a colour. So I started off with the pink, the orange, and then into the yellow, so it was a similar sort of coloured ombre. And then I cleaned the brush off and I just dabbed in between those colours just to blend them together, and a little bit of brushing. And I did the same with the bottom half, cleaning that brush continuously throughout. Right, so then a bit more of I covered it with the base coat so that I could cure it and then have another tacky layer so I could do a second coat. I just felt I wanted it to be a little bit more pigmented. And then the second coat of the gel. This is a car park voiceover. I'm in the car park in the centre of town today. I really love this car park because I'm surrounded by Victorian buildings from when the town I'm from was mainly a railway town. There was a workshop here building trains, and you sit here and you're surrounded by these, and then just behind it are the sort of I'd say looking at them probably 1980s tower blocks. I don't know, I just like the juxtaposition of it. Oh, and over to the left is a 1960s one. Right, so using the Madam Glam ombre brush again, just blending those colours together. Ombre is something I've never been brilliant at. I do find that using an ombre brush for me is the best bet, and making sure I keep cleaning that brush, otherwise you end up putting too much of one colour into the next colour. Does that make sense? I think that makes sense. Okay, going back in with the pigments, just to get a really nice pigmenty colour. Pigmenty colour, what am I on about? I don't know. Blending them together, keep cleaning that brush all the time, and you can see the state of the kitchen roll I've got down there, can't you? Absolutely covered in it. Right, so I went in with another layer of the base coat to hold that in place because I was going to do stamping afterwards. So this is a stamping plate from Born Pretty. It's one I've had for goodness knows how long, since the year dot. And it has this sort of long scene at the bottom. So I decided to use a little bit of that and just do, one of those sort of cliched Africa in the sunset sort of pictures. There we go. So that was on I can't even remember now. That one was no, that's on the pigment, isn't it? There we go. I went in with the gel again on that one. I decided to go for a third coat just because I didn't think it was opaque enough. But I was going to edit this bit out. I don't know why I didn't. Maybe I've edited something else out by mistake. Or maybe it's going to go now. There we go. So that's just curing, or it's being cured. So I went for the other end of this plate. Yeah, always dot that. I've done another one on stamping if you want to go back and watch that. And pop that. So one's got an elephant, one's got a giraffe. Years and years ago, my parents went to India and they went to the Pushkar Camel Fair. And my dad took a picture of a giraffe with a sunset behind it, and he entered it. My dad was an amateur photographer. Still is. I don't know why I said was. And he took this photograph and he put it into a competition, and the judge snorted and said, well, that's obviously a cut-out camel put on a sunset background, isn't it? It really wasn't. It was a real camel at the Pushkar Camel Fair with the background of an actual sunset. But there we go. Right, so they both had a no-wipe top coat. And that's what they look like. I really like the effect of the pigment ombre. I think it works better. Don't forget to like, subscribe. Bye.